Discipline is the foundation of long-term success, while motivation is only a temporary spark. Motivation feels powerful when it appears, but it is unpredictable and unreliable. Some days you feel inspired, energized, and ready to take action, and other days you feel tired, distracted, or doubtful. If your progress depends only on motivation, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline, on the other hand, does not depend on feelings. It depends on commitment, structure, and the decision to act regardless of mood. Motivation is emotional, discipline is logical. Motivation comes from excitement, rewards, or external influence. But discipline comes from internal standards. When you rely on motivation, you work only when you feel good. When you rely on discipline, you work because it is who you are and what you have decided to do. This shift changes everything. Discipline turns effort into a habit and progress into a lifestyle. One of the biggest misconceptions is that disciplined people are always motivated. In reality, disciplined people act even when motivation is absent. They understand that waiting to feel ready is a trap. Life does not wait for perfect conditions, and neither should you. Discipline teaches you to move first, and let motivation catch up later. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Discipline creates consistency, and consistency builds results. Small actions repeated daily outperform intense effort done occasionally. Motivation may push you hard for a short time, but discipline carries you forward steadily. Over weeks and years, disciplined habits compound into massive transformation. This is why discipline is more powerful than talent, intelligence, or excitement. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity. You begin to trust yourself. Confidence grows not from positive thinking, but from proven reliability. When you know you will do what you say, regardless of how you feel, your inner strength becomes unshakable. This self-trust cannot be taken away by failure or criticism. Another key advantage of discipline is emotional stability. Motivation rises and falls with emotion, but discipline remains steady. This stability protects you from burnout and self-sabotage. You stop chasing highs and avoiding lows. You simply show up, do the work, and move forward. This calm consistency is what separates professionals from amateurs in every field. Discipline also sharpens focus. When you have clear routines and standards, you waste less energy on decision-making. You already know what must be done. This mental clarity reduces stress and increases efficiency. Instead of debating with yourself, you execute. Over time, this creates a powerful sense of control over your life. Many people fear discipline because they see it as restriction. In reality, discipline creates freedom. It frees you from chaos, procrastination, and regret. It frees you from depending on moods and external validation. A disciplined life is structured, but within that structure, you gain confidence, peace, and direction. Discipline also prepares you for adversity. When challenges arise, disciplined habits keep you grounded. You do not panic or quit. You rely on routines that support you even in difficult times. This resilience is built long before the crisis appears. Discipline is quiet preparation for future pressure. In the long run, motivation may start the journey, but discipline finishes it. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. When you choose discipline daily, even in small ways, you build a life of strength, consistency, and self-mastery. Success does not come from feeling inspired. It comes from acting with discipline, especially when inspiration is gone. Progress is never free. Every meaningful improvement in life demands a cost, and that cost is often pain. Pain does not always appear as physical suffering. It shows up as discomfort, sacrifice, discipline, frustration, and emotional strain. Many people want growth without pain, success without struggle, and strength without resistance, but reality does not work that way. Pain is not a punishment, it is a payment. When you understand this, your relationship with pain changes and progress becomes possible. Pain appears the moment you decide to move beyond your current limits. The comfort zone is painless, but it is also powerless. Inside comfort, nothing challenges you, nothing stretches you, and nothing forces adaptation. The moment you push beyond what is familiar, pain shows up as resistance. This resistance is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a signal that growth has begun. Every form of progress carries its own kind of pain. Physical growth requires muscle strain and fatigue. Mental growth requires focus, frustration, and repeated failure. Emotional growth requires facing fear, rejection, and uncertainty. Even discipline carries pain, the pain of doing what is necessary instead of what is easy. Avoiding this pain keeps you exactly where you are. Embracing it moves you forward. Pain teaches resilience. When you experience difficulty and choose not to quit, you build tolerance. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. Over time, your threshold increases, and challenges lose their power to intimidate you. This is how strength is formed. Strength is not the absence of pain, it is the ability to function despite. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing pain with failure. Failure is not pain, it is feedback. Pain is often the process of learning, adjusting, and refining. Every mistake, setback, and obstacle carries information. When you interpret pain as information rather than defeat, you grow faster and smarter. Progress accelerates when pain becomes a teacher instead of an enemy. Pain also builds discipline. Discipline requires doing difficult things repeatedly without immediate reward. This is painful for the ego and uncomfortable for the mind. However, each time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce self-control. Over time, discipline becomes a habit, and pain becomes familiar. Familiar pain loses its ability to stop you. Emotional pain is another essential part of progress. Rejection, criticism, and loss test emotional strength. Avoiding emotional pain leads to avoidance of opportunity. Growth requires exposure. Each emotional challenge strengthens self-awareness and emotional control. You learn not to collapse under pressure. You learn to stand firm without becoming bitter. This emotional maturity is a powerful form of progress. Pain also creates clarity. When life is easy, distractions multiply. When things are difficult, priorities become clear. Pain strips away what is unnecessary and forces focus on what truly matters. This clarity sharpens decision-making and strengthens purpose. Many people only discover their true values under pressure. It is important to understand that pain has direction. Random suffering without purpose is damaging, but intentional pain with a goal is transformative. Choosing to endure discomfort for growth is different from suffering without direction. Purpose gives pain meaning. Meaning turns hardship into strength. In the end, progress demands payment, and pain is the currency. You either pay the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. One leads to growth, the other to stagnation. When you accept pain as part of the process, you stop resisting it. You move forward with courage, patience, and determination. Pain becomes proof that you are evolving. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is one of the strongest forms of power a person can develop. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and constant reaction, the ability to remain silent gives you control. Silence is not the absence of confidence. It is the presence of discipline. When you stop reacting impulsively and start observing calmly, you gain authority over your emotions, your words, and your actions. Most people feel the need to explain themselves, defend every decision, and respond to every comment. This habit drains energy and weakens presence. When you speak less, you listen more. Listening increases awareness, and awareness increases intelligence. Silence allows you to read situations clearly, understand people deeply, and choose your responses wisely. This clarity creates quiet confidence. Silence also protects your plans and intentions. When goals are shared too early, they invite doubt, opinions, and unnecessary interference. Keeping your plans private preserves focus and motivation. Progress made in silence is often more powerful because it is driven by action rather than validation. Results speak louder than explanations ever could. Emotional control is strengthened through silence. When emotions rise, words spoken in haste often lead to regret. Silence gives you time to process feelings without letting them control your behavior. This pause creates emotional maturity. You respond instead of react. Over time, this ability builds respect from others and trust within yourself. Silence builds mental strength by reducing unnecessary stimulation. Constant noise keeps the mind restless and distracted. Silence creates space for thought, reflection, and clarity. In quiet moments, you become aware of your inner voice and thought patterns. This self-awareness is essential for personal growth. It allows you to correct limiting beliefs and reinforce discipline. Silence also enhances presence. When you are comfortable with silence, you appear grounded and confident. You do not rush to fill gaps with unnecessary words. Your calmness influences the environment around you. People pay more attention when you speak because your words are intentional. The selective communication increases impact and authority. In conflict, silence can be more powerful than argument. Not every disagreement deserves engagement. Silence deprives negativity of fuel. It prevents escalation and preserves inner peace. Walking away from unnecessary conflict is a strategic choice, not avoidance. This restraint demonstrates strength and self-respect. Silence also encourages patience. Patience is built by resisting the urge to react immediately. With patience comes wisdom. You learn to wait, observe, and act at the right moment. Timing is often more important than force. Silence sharpens timing by slowing impulsive behavior. In personal development, silence creates consistency. When you stop talking about what you will do and start doing it quietly, discipline strengthens. Action without announcement builds integrity. You prove to yourself that progress does not require applause. This internal validation is a powerful source of confidence. Silence is also a form of self-respect. You do not need to convince everyone of your worth. You allow your character, work, and consistency to define you. This detachment from external validation creates freedom. Freedom strengthens focus and purpose. In the end, silence builds power by sharpening awareness, strengthening discipline, and protecting energy. It transforms reactions into responses and noise into clarity. Those who master silence move with calm confidence and quiet authority. In a loud world, the silent mind becomes unstoppable. Self-respect is not something you demand from others. It is something you build within yourself. At the core of self-respect are standards, the non-negotiable rules you set for how you live, how you behave, and what you allow into your life. Without standards, confidence becomes fragile, and self-worth depends on approval. With standards, your identity becomes stable, and your actions align with your values. Standards define what you tolerate and what you refuse. They determine how you spend your time, how you treat your body and mind, and how you allow others to treat you. When standards are low or undefined, people drift, accept less than they deserve, and compromise their integrity for comfort or acceptance. This leads to internal conflict and loss of self-respect. Clear standards remove confusion and create direction. Many people confuse self-respect with arrogance or ego. In truth, self-respect is quiet and grounded. It is the willingness to say no to what does not serve your growth, even when it is tempting or popular. It is choosing long-term values over short-term pleasure. Every time you uphold a standard, you send a message to yourself that your principles matter. This builds inner strength and trust. Standards require discipline. It is easy to set rules, but it is harder to live by them consistently. Discipline turns standards into habits. When you wake up on time, honor your commitments, and follow through on promises, you reinforce self-respect. Small daily actions matter. They shape your identity more than grand intentions ever could. Self-respect also grows through boundaries. Boundaries are practical expressions of standards. They protect your energy and mental space. When you allow constant disrespect, chaos or negativity, self-respect erodes. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is a small price for dignity. People may resist your boundaries, but that resistance often reveals why they were needed in the first place. Standards also influence relationships. You attract what you tolerate. When your standards are strong, your relationships improve in quality, even if they reduce in quantity. You stop seeking validation and start seeking alignment. This shift creates respect both from others and from yourself. In moments of pressure, standards guide decisions. When emotions are high and clarity is low, standards act as anchors. They prevent impulsive choices and regret. You do not need to debate every situation. You already know what is acceptable. This consistency builds confidence and emotional stability. Self-respect also protects you from comparison. When standards are internally defined, external opinions lose power. You are no longer competing for approval or measuring worth through others' success. You focus on your own path. This focus creates peace and long-term growth. Over time, standards shape character. Character is not built through words, but through repeated choices. When you consistently live according to your standards, your identity strengthens. You become reliable, grounded, and confident. This confidence is not loud or performative, it is calm and unshakable. In the end, self-respect is earned daily. It grows when standards are clear, discipline is practiced, and boundaries are enforced. You do not need to announce your standards, you live them. Through this consistency, self-respect becomes natural, and your presence reflects strength, clarity, and purpose. Destiny is not shaped by a single moment of inspiration or one powerful decision. It is shaped by what you do repeatedly. Consistency is the quiet force that determines where your life eventually leads. While talent, motivation, and opportunity may open doors, it is consistency that decides whether you walk through them or not. What you practice daily becomes your direction, and over time, that direction becomes your destiny. Many people overestimate what they can achieve in a short time and underestimate what they can achieve through consistent effort. They look for quick results, instant transformation and dramatic change. When these do not appear, they lose interest and move on. Consistency requires patience. It demands trust in the process, even when progress feels slow or invisible. This patience separates those who succeed from those who quit early. Consistency builds identity. Every repeated action sends a message to your mind about who you are. When you show up daily, even when it is difficult, you begin to see yourself as disciplined, reliable, and strong. This self-image reinforces behavior. You no longer rely on motivation. You act because it aligns with who you believe you are. Identity-based consistency is powerful because it sustains action during difficult times. Small actions done consistently compound over time. One workout does not transform the body, one focused session does not master a skill, and one disciplined day does not change a life. However, hundreds of small actions performed consistently create visible transformation. Compounding is slow at first, but unstoppable once momentum builds. What feels insignificant today becomes extraordinary tomorrow. Consistency also creates confidence. Confidence is not built by thinking positively. It is built by keeping promises to yourself. Each time you follow through, you strengthen self-trust. This trust reduces doubt and hesitation. When challenges arise, you do not panic because you know you are capable of sustained effort. This quiet confidence becomes a powerful advantage in every area of life. Inconsistency creates chaos. When effort is random, results are unpredictable. This unpredictability breeds frustration and self-doubt. People begin questioning their ability rather than their habits. Consistency removes confusion. It creates structure, rhythm, and clarity. You know what needs to be done, and you do it regardless of mood. This stability is essential for long-term growth. Consistency also builds resilience. Life will test commitment through fatigue, boredom, and setbacks. Staying consistent during these moments strengthens mental endurance. You learn to work through resistance instead of escaping it. Over time, resistance loses its power to stop you. This resilience ensures progress continues even under pressure. Destiny is often misunderstood as something fixed or predetermined. In reality, destiny is flexible and shaped by daily choices. Each consistent habit pushes life in a specific direction. Positive habits lead to growth. Negative habits lead to stagnation. You may not notice the shift immediately, but eventually, the results become undeniable. Your future reflects what you repeatedly do today. Consistency also teaches humility. It removes the need for dramatic recognition or quick rewards. You learn to value effort over applause. You focus on improvement rather than comparison. This humility keeps you grounded and focused on the process rather than the outcome. In the end, consistency is the bridge between intention and outcome. Dreams remain dreams without consistent action. Discipline, patience, and repetition turn vision into reality. When you commit to consistency, you take control of your direction. Day by day, action by action, consistency creates destiny. All of these principles come together to deliver one clear message: that true transformation is built through disciplined, consistent action guided by strong standards. When you choose discipline over motivation, you stop waiting for the right feeling and start creating results through commitment. When you accept pain as the price of progress, you no longer fear struggle, you use it as fuel. Silence builds power by sharpening focus and emotional control, while strong standards create self-respect and protect your identity. Consistency then ties everything together. It turns effort into habit, habits into character, and character into destiny. These lessons are not meant to inspire you for a moment, but to reshape how you live daily. Growth does not require loud declarations, perfect conditions, or constant motivation. It requires quiet discipline, repeated effort, and the courage to hold your standards when no one is watching. This is a lifelong practice. Each day you choose discipline, embrace discomfort, protect your energy, and act consistently. You move closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Stay committed to the process. Over time, your actions will speak for you, your confidence will be unshakable, and your life will reflect the strength of the standards you live by.